What do you know about depression?
I know that it can be caused by a lot of things, and I know that in some cases it doesn't go away.
What do you know about depression?
Depression is a mental illness that causes extreme sadness and it cannot be cured with normal methods. That's all I know.
What experience or knowledge do you have with mental disorders or ADHD?
I have a daughter that is 33 that had ADHD, and I have a grandson that has ADHD, and it has been trouble with them for schooling. They're focusing, they're socializing. Making friends was a hard thing for them. Being a follower was a hard thing for them.
So what experience or knowledge do you have with ADHD?
I've grown up my entire life having ADHD. Knowledge-wise, it's very slim because it's pretty much a very well-known thing, but there's so much out there. I don't really know how to explain that.
What would make someone depressed?
Loss of a family member, stress from school, anything basically.
What would make someone depressed?
It can range from anything from bullying to a traumatic life experience, like something like a dying pet, or not having a parent around for a long while for whatever reason.
How often do you worry about fitting schoolwork into other aspects of your life, so like time management wise?
Almost every day, because of trying to balance a work life, a family life, school, and on top of that, a job. It gets pretty hard, obviously.
How often do you worry about fitting schoolwork into other aspects of your life?
Oh, it's a major worry for me because I have to get my schoolwork done. I have to get it done in like a timely manner, and if I don't, I'll stress myself over it because grades are important. Like, you know, if I have like a B, then I just get mad and I need A's. So yeah, stress all the time.
And why do you think there's an increase of ADHD in high school students?
I think there's an increase because a lot of parents that I've known didn't want their children to be on medication when they were younger. And I think they had a lot of control over what they did. And as the kids got older and went into high school, then they kind of do what they want to do. And I just think that if they would have been treated, whether it been with medication or counseling or something, I don't think there'd be that high of, that many kids.
20% of teens have mental disorder. Why do you think is the reason?
Well, we probably know more than we used to. That's why my statistics risen, and we probably diagnose more than we ever have before, just because of the more technology we have, the more warning signs we see, more things we've discovered.
What do you think is the reason for an anxiety spike in teens in recent years?
Family problems, because family is the closest thing to people, and once something bad happens, obviously that's going to mess with their brain a lot, so yeah.
What do you think is the reason for an anxiety spike in recent years for adolescents?
Like kids these days?
Yes.
School, obviously, and with all of like the gun violence and stuff in school, that's no way to live. Like, that's awful.
20% of teens have mental disorder. Why do you think is the reason?
I feel it is the more outdated school system, as well as the increasing increasing awareness for things in the Americas, like what am I thinking of? I don't know. Basically, all the stuff, like, people are more sensitive these days.
What do you think is the reason for the recent anxiety spike in adolescents?
Everything in society, Like, we've literally grown up in a time where the economy was failing, war has been like on everything. We have parents and teachers who like don't necessarily believe that students have anxiety, and there's more pressure put on us. Schoolwork's getting harder, colleges are harder to get into, colleges cost more, jobs are harder to get, like everything's just a mess.
How would depression affect a person?
Well, they probably wouldn't have the will to do much. Wouldn't want to get out of bed sometimes, maybe, depending on whether or not how bad the depression is.
Do you know anyone with anxiety? If so, how do you notice it affects them?
I know a lot of people with anxiety. It affects them in too many ways to where it seems like they can't really function, and that sucks a lot. I hate seeing them suffer like that.
Elaborate, like, in what ways, like, do you see them suffer? Socially or?
Mentally. I don't know, seems like their whole world falls apart.
Do you, family, or any friends have ADHD? And if so, how has it affected you?
Well, I have a daughter, like I said, and she was a follower. So she was one that turned to drugs. I had her father was also, he wasn't diagnosed as a child because he wasn't, as an example, was not allowed to be medicated. So he turned to drugs and alcohol. You know, I have nephews and stuff that have turned to, you know, drugs. I have a grandson now, he's only 7, and it's affected me because he doesn't understand what problems he actually does have. You know, he doesn't understand what's wrong with him. So, you know, I'm trying to get him to understand what is wrong, why he feels the way he does, you know, why he can't focus the way he wants to.
Do you know anybody with anxiety? If so, how do you notice it affects them?
My mother has anxiety, and she isn't able to get things done on time because she worries about other things too much.
Do you know anyone with anxiety? If so, how do you notice it affects them?
I mean, most of my friends have anxiety, and it's just the whole thing with like social situations, like schoolwork, like it's harder, or like they have bigger reactions to smaller things.
How would depression affect a person?
Depression, like, it affects people in the sense that it's kind of them battling themselves. Like, they're always feeling unmotivated, and sometimes they like don't feel the need to work on anything or the need to do their homework or anything like that.
Do you know anyone with anxiety? If so, how do you notice it affects them?
Yes, almost everyone in my family has social anxiety. I guess it's just something that runs in the family. A lot of people have depression and anxiety in my family, basically.
How would depression affect a person?
Depression could take them out of anything that they usually enjoy, like sports. They could stop doing that. They can stop doing schoolwork. They can basically stop certain functions for what they like to do or usually do.
What do you do to help your anxiety or frequent worry?
Spend time alone. I'd rather have time alone than with people.
What do you do to help your anxiety or frequent worry?
Talking with people. Taking my mind off of things.
Which treatments do you know of for ADHD?
Ritalin was the first one I've ever known of, and then Adderall. And they now have my grandson not only on Adderall, but they have him on Intuitive. It's a adult blood pressure pill, which is known to treat ADHD, and it's a non-stimulant. And the reason they use that a lot is with ADHD being hyper, and then like he has anxiety and other issues, but he has anxiety, and using a stimulant with ADHD and anxiety and then like ASD, he has autism, you know. So those things are all keeping him up there in the hyperactivity, and Adderall isn't really taking the hyperactivity away. So the intuitive is a non-stimulant where it will bring him down, you know, a little better. So it's something new we're starting on. You know, it's known to help ADHD, so I'm hoping that it does work.
What do you do to help your anxiety or frequent worry?
I have this app about meditation. I know it's kind of lame, but it's called Headspace, and it just helps like breathing and stuff, and it gets rid of like panic attacks and stuff like that.
What do you often do to help your anxiety or frequent worry?
I'm just talking about it, really. Just like ranting or venting about stuff.
Of these treatments, what do you think is the most effective and why?
I actually think, I mean, I know the medication it does help, but I think counseling is the main thing because it gives the kids, the children, they can talk about their problems. They can talk about, you know, issues like they may be having with friends, you know, if they're not able to make friends, if their friends are trying to get them to go out and do drinking or smoking or drugs or what have you. You know, and I think the counseling is probably one of the most important things.
How would you approach someone in an effort to help?
Try to give them coping mechanisms. Let them know that like they're obviously not the only person with anxiety.
All right.
What treatment do you know of for these mental disorders or ADHD?
I've been on medicine my whole life, so that's the only one I guess would be the only one that works.
What medicine have you been on?
Clonidine, Adderall. There's another one. I took a good bit. I've been on it since I was 5 years old. So as I was growing up, I had to keep getting like up dosage. So then once I got to the end of the dosage, they would give me a new pill, and then it just kept. And then the last one I took was Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How would you approach someone in an effort to help?
Comfort. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to explain.
So like talking to them or?
Talk to them, listen to them, and let them just